Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. We are here with your program, Islam in the Contemporary World. Let's try to understand what is Islam and how Islam conveys a message of peace and love for others, and how Islam describes the term of family. Today, we will be talking about very important aspect of family, which would refer to a very important aspect of life, which is about relationship between parents and children. How Quran refers to a family, and how Islam sees a family as an organ for the community, for international change, for domestic affairs, and how a kid who is grooming in your family can be seen as a person who is a true Muslim, who is a true human being. This is obviously a major issue. What our scholars describe about the family relationship, and especially parents and children. Naturally, there are so many interlinked questions and answers, and all the time we are very much concerned about our children, how to take care of them, how to make proper orientation of these grooming personalities, and how to have a successful society as a role model for other international issues and international societies. In this connection, we have invited two important personalities in our studios. They will be talking about relationship between parents and children. Our first guest speaker for the program is a renowned personality. He is noted for his services in North America and especially in USA. He's been doing a lot for the community and especially for youth of America as well as in Pakistan. I mean Professor Dr. Gholam Mujtaba. Professor Dr. Gholam Mujtaba, we welcome you in our program Islam in the Contemporary World.
Thank you very much, Professor Qadri.
Our second guest is another personality who is noted for educational promotion in Pakistan. He is a retired Lieutenant General, and he's been working for the promotion of education. And with reference to the youth of Pakistan, he is a person who takes care of Pakistan Scout. Mr. P.S.Shahid, he is retired Lieutenant General of Pakistan Army. Mr. P.S.Shahid, we welcome you in our program, Islam in the Contemporary World.
Thank you. Qadri sahab, I'm sorry I have a little sore throat today, but I feel very privileged to be here this evening to talk about the subject I've introduced. I do think that I'm qualified because, mashallah, I have children and grandchildren.
Great.
So really, I bring the context to this.
Okay, that's great. Dear viewers, this was a slight introduction of our guest, but they are more than this. How they suggest how they've been involved themselves in promoting all these relationships. Like naturally, right now, if I see Professor Dr. Gholam Mujtaba, if I see Lieutenant General P.S.Shahid, naturally, today they are fathers, but in same time we see they're also sons, and our daughters, our sisters, brothers. So this creates community. As a son, Professor Dr. Gholam Mujtaba, how do you place yourself? What kind of son were you, and what kind of community atmosphere or environment was at that time when you were moving towards your destination, the destination of success? Because we see you as a successful person.
That's a very interesting question, Professor Qadri, and for your viewers and their interest, let me give you one incident here. I was raised in a family where the culture and traditions were strong.
You mean Islamic culture?
Islamic culture.
Okay.
And I had to listen to my parents while they were working in upbringing my personality. It was back in 1970 when I passed the matriculation exam from the Karachi board, and I was one of the top students at that time in Karachi. I had my 7th position in the board. And my father, who was a civil servant, and I was from the pre-engineering group in the matric exam, my father insisted on me to become a doctor. I was not too happy with that decision. And I kept on insisting that I want to be an engineer. My father wanted me again to be a doctor. I did resist for some time, but because of the cultural bondage which we have in our society and in the Islamic culture, I had to follow what he wanted to tell me. It looked bitter to me at that time, but now, after 40 years from that day, I see myself somewhere my prominence in my area of specialization. Had I not followed my father, I may not have achieved what I have achieved today.
That's great.
Yes.
Do you think today our children, they are following the same tradition as we had before?
As far as I am concerned, I can say with all the liberty before your audience that my children did follow whatever I told them to do. And the vision of a father and the understanding of a father in grooming a personality is much higher than a kid who is 12 years old or 16 years old. His guidance should be taken with care and due care, because you cannot challenge the integrity of your parents. They are looking to get you a successful life, and that successful life, they have no interest of their own. It is a selfless approach to bring their kids at par to a certain level.
So you're talking about the system approach or the cultural norms and cultural relationship, and because you were in Pakistan at that time, that's why you followed your
Yes.
parents' orders, or especially you followed advice of your father, and you took it as an order and as ibadat, because while we say we are following...
But there's one thing, Professor Qadri, let me tell you. That thing is something, an unknown thing for kids to understand. And what unknown thing is that? If I get a headache, Professor Qadri, I don't see the headache.
Exactly.
All right?
Yeah, you're right.
But I can feel it.
Yeah.
And what is that feeling? The relationship between a parent and a son, there has to be a feeling which cannot be expressed in terms of words. And you should have a feeling as a kid, or my kids should have a feeling for myself. And that feeling cannot be defined in our worldly languages.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you, we sacrifice halal animals like goat. And majority of the population on earth do eat goat. There is abundance of usage of goat in the society, but people do not eat cat. Cats produce more cats, the production rate is higher, the consumption rate is not there. Goats, the production rate is lower and the consumption is higher. Who maintains that? So we have to understand that the divine laws are the laws that has to be implemented, and that has the wisdom that is beyond our wisdom.
Exactly, and right now we are going for a short break. Please stay with us. We'll be coming soon. Welcome back in our program, Islam in the Contemporary World. We are talking about a very serious issue, relationship between parents and children. General P.S.Shahid is here, and I believe you have a lot of experience being a retired army officer. As a children, how did you assume yourself that, or consider yourself that you would be like this, and your family pushed you to another way, or you have the same match of, or the same frequency of thought? What was your experience as a kid or as a children?
Thank you, Dr. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I pray that may Allah bless my parents because both passed away and they be in the highest places in Jannah. My experience has been a little different what Dr. Mujtaba said, because I had a father who encouraged me to do what I wished to do. And I think my upbringing was done in a manner that there was never a time that he had to prompt me what I must do. He gave me an environment where I had to determine for myself how should I excel. And it started very early in life. That was in 1961, when I was a student of grade 7, that I saw an ad in the newspaper which was about a cadet college, Pitaro. It was newly there established. So I asked him that I want to go to that college. And my father said, okay, do it on your own. So what I did was, from the newspaper, I applied for the college, appeared for the interview on my own. When I was selected, I intimated to him that my call has come now. And my late mother subsequently told me that at that time my father's pay was 450 rupees. And my monthly expenditure for that college for 1 month was going to be 250 rupees. At that time, it was 62. So my mother told me that I told your father, don't step back. We will do something. I'll sell my jewelry, but make sure that he gets the best education. So we were a family of 4. We were 3 brothers and a sister. So everybody was being educated at that time. But my mother told my father, don't step back at this time. We'll do anything. We'll beg, borrow, whatever, let him go to the college. So when I arrived there, I knew that here is an opportunity which come my way because my parents have sacrificed for me. So my orientation in that college was different. I did not want to do anything which would let down my parents, or I will fail their trust and the sacrifice they had made for me. So within the first 6 months, I was given 50% scholarship. And after the first year was over, I studied on 75% scholarship in the college, Cadet College Pitaro. And shukar alhamdulillah, Allah was kind to me. I was the number 1 student of the college. Then I went to the army. At that particular time again, my father did not say anything, what should I be doing with my life? But my mother possibly wanted me to become an engineer. So I did not apply for the army. And my principal, again late Professor Firosha, was a great man. When I was leaving the college, the head boy, I asked him, he asked me, have you ever applied for the army? I said, no, my mother wants me to become an engineer. He said, fine. He said, take these forms, ask your mother if your permits apply it. When I was going out of the door, he again called me. He said, why don't you fill these forms now? If your mother allows you, join. Otherwise, don't. So destiny played its role, and I landed in the army. And my mother at that time stepped back and said, okay, do what is best for you.
And then you became Lieutenant General.
I became Lieutenant General. I passed out from that graduation as the number 1 cadet with the Sword of Honor, President Gold Medal, and normal government.
And also you have Al-Imtiaz.
Yes, that was what I want to tell you here about the mother point of view. At that time, when my graduation day, I was the only person who stepped forward to receive all the 3 awards. And my mother told me that all the other mothers who were sitting around were saying, is the maa kaun ho si? See, who's his mother? So to me, that's my highest point in life, the satisfaction I could bring to my mother as to feeling the greatness because of his son.
So Dr. Gholam Mujtaba, you mostly live in USA and you have a great experience of North America. How do you see relationship between parents and children in America?
Well, Professor Qadri, I think you have spent a lot of years in the United States and in Canada yourself, and you are aware of one thing, that the society in the East, and particularly the Islamic society, as opposed to the Western society, as opposed to the Western culture, there is a huge difference. If we talk to a parent who is 80 years old today and sitting in the elderly homes in the United States, what will happen? They'll start crying. They don't get their kids around, they don't get their sons around, they don't get their daughters around, and they have a feeling that they are missing something in their life. And Quran says that you are at the giving end when you are a parent, when you are grooming them up, when you are feeding the baby, when you are sending them to schools, and when you grow old, it is their turn to help you. So it goes both ways. The children are being helped, the children are being served when they are small kids, and when the parents grow old, the parents have to be served. So there has to be a balance in the society. In the Western society, this balance is lacking.
It's lacking.
Is lacking.
You think like?
Yes, absolutely. When the kid goes to school, the first lesson the kid gets there is, this is the way to call 911. This is the way you have to call the police. If you come across any problem, if your parents put you under duress or stress, you call 911.
So
and here you go. The police comes into the house,
yeah.
and you have to face a sequence of events.
And we have observed so many people over there that small children, son or daughter, they have called police and they are arrested, or they face problems, other stuff. You think that it is happening because of lack of knowledge and lack of religion, lack of culture, lack of other stuff, and especially while we talk of Muslim community and Muslim families in America or in Europe or in Great Britain or other parts of the world. How should we train our small kids, and how they should be a part of our culture?
There should be two things. First of all, they should be proud of their legacy. Mm-hmm. For instance, I wanted to excel in my academics. Yeah. I also went to a cadet college. Mm-hmm. I topped the university. Mm-hmm. Then I got my doctorate from one of the best universities in the world. Mm-hmm. It was inspired because of the fact that my father had left that legacy for me. He topped Calcutta University in 1931. Mm-hmm. He was the first Muslim to top the university. Mm-hmm. So that was the legacy. That inspired me, that if he can do it, I have to do it.
It means now, it is...
Now the second thing is that you have to create an understanding of your culture and religion. You have to impart that into the kids for them to know that here I am, I have to uphold this.
So being a parent, we must understand what we are giving to our children. First, we will have to seek knowledge. We will have to understand culture. We will have to understand cosmic law, that is Sharia, the Quranic order, and the life of the Prophet Muhammad, how he used to behave with children. Then we could say that we saved our generation. Naturally, this is onward transmission. But right now, we are going for a short break, and we believe you would be staying with us. Inshallah, we are coming back soon. Welcome back in our program, Islam in the Contemporary World, and we are discussing about relationship between parents and children. General P.S.Shahid, you think that dua, prayer, plays a vital role for a kid or a children? What do you think?
Dr. Qadri, there is no question that prayer play a very vital role in the development of children, let alone in every walk of life as per our religious belief. What I think is very critical for a child's development at the early stages is the love and affection that he receives from the parents. In the West, and Dr. Gholam Mujtaba would bear me out, we are having children who are generally being represented by about 40% single parents. And this issue of child abuse is very pronounced in the West because of this particular reason. In our culture, this is not the case, because the parents are giving the full attention, love and affection. However, in our society too, wherever you have broken families or where you have divorces, the children do suffer. So I would say that for the development of children in the early stages, it's a critical thing, and the time the parents give to their children is what makes them their future. And right now, I remember a very short story where a child was collecting money and he requested for some money from his father. And the next day when he learned was the child was trying to raise money to tell him, I want to buy 1 hour from you. We don't have time for our children.
You think,
and all those parents.
You think we don't consider importance of time for our family and especially for our children. That's why these things are taking away family members from each other.
Most certainly, Professor Qadri, in all the families where the parents are giving time to their children, the children are nurtured and brought up differently. But where the parents do not have time for their children, and they think that by keeping a nanny, they will be able to bring their children up, unfortunately, the results are not what it should be. Because no nanny can give the kind of love and affection a mother can give.
Professor Gholam Mujtaba, how about yourself? How do you see the Western world and Islamic world? Do they have some similarities in proper orientation of children, or just they don't have any resemblance, or they are grooming their kids and societies?
Professor Qadri, the question that you asked is an excellent question. And this is the crux of the matter. If you look to the Western society, and let me come to North America and United States, the society in the United States, the worstly affected area was known as Harlem in New York. In Harlem, during daytime, you would not be able to move on the streets. You'll be mugged. Even the small kids would be on the streets to mug you. That was 20 years from today. But things did change in Harlem. Harlem is one of the most peaceful locations in the United States today. Harlem is the most secured place to walk on the streets today. What made the difference? A place that was known for all those evil things in the society, smoking, drugs, marijuana, looting, mugging, and everything, you name it. And now this society don't have that stuff. What brought the change? That change is known as Islam.
Exactly. That
Yeah.
this is
When
most
Islam
important. Yeah.
entered into the Harlem society, when the society transformed itself to the Islamic culture, this society is different today.
They conceived basic principles of living or united family system, and how to live with each other and how to transform
Exactly,
relationship.
exactly.
And unfortunately, we promoted some.
We promoted that society, and now we are promoting something else here.
So those who are on
That's
receiving
the
end,
yes.
those who are on receiving end, they have got what they wanted,
Yes.
the better option for their
The
society.
good of Islam is moving there, and the bad part of the West is coming here. We are exporting the goods over there, and we are importing the bad stuff here. That is,
You think it's hard luck of
that
ours
is, we
because
have
we
to
haven't.
teach our kids that, look, this is the difference. This is what our culture is.
Yeah.
This culture is being followed by the West today. Like someone, an Islamic scholar went to the West, and he said that I have seen a Muslim society, so many Muslims following the religion in the West, and I don't see any practicing Muslim in the East. Why? It does not mean that they are the people of our faith, but they followed what our faith tells us to follow. That's why they excelled in science. That's why they excelled in technology. That's why they are excelling in every area of life.
And we see in past how
But
Muslim scholars.
the family structure has still to go into the Western society. That structure is missing in the West. And we have a good thing to give it to the West, that our family structure is not a broken family structure. Here we have a structure that should be followed, and that will help you in the upbringing of your society.
So upbringing of society, or upbringing your children, the matter is that how we are receiving Islamic education while we read Quran or recite Quran, and we go through.
Would you allow me to
hadiths.
interrupt you for a second? Would you allow me to interrupt you for a
Sure.
second?
Sure.
Let me tell you one thing. It's very personal. I got 6 kids.
Okay.
4 of them are doctors.
MashaAllah.
2 of them in the medical schools.
But still, you seem very young.
2 of them in the medical schools, and 4 of them married. All 4 spouses are doctors. That's an example for a Muslim family.
And one of them...
And that family, those people who were born in the US.
I think one of them is going to be surgeon.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. So that's a role model that you give to the West, that here is a family structure, joined together, excel in academics, excel in professions, and you see the difference.
Yeah.
What I was saying was, there's a very simple saying, Ba-adab ba-nasib, be-adab be-nasib. How do you put it in English?
It's very simple. A person who pays proper respect to parents, to others, he would be respected by the society,
He will have a brilliant fate.
by the community, because it
So
is
be-adab be-nasib.
it is
The fate is
a way.
compromised.
It is a way, two ways. Like once if you pay, then you will get. If you don't pay respect,
Yes.
you won't be respected by others. Very simple.
No, I'm saying this in relationship to the parent-children relationship.
Exactly.
If the children do not learn to respect their parents, the parents will still continue to love them. But the fact of the matter is, be-adab be-nasib. Unfortunately, they in the long run are not going to get the full benefits of doing this. You remember a time, a small story that to be said, that a mother asked for water from a child. He went, and then when he came back, he saw his mother was sleeping. He stood the whole night holding the glass to be able to give that glass to the... See, when you talked about the dua, when the mother raises the hands for dua, Allah Ta'ala subhanahu wa ta'ala has given everything.
Subhanallah. Subhanallah. This is blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
I sit here as a success story of somebody else.
Yeah. And
If my children tomorrow will inshallah become something, I might be able to get the small sense of satisfaction.
so this is a reciprocal relationship between parents and kids. We are talking about this beautiful relationship, and we understand that without having proper knowledge of Quran and Sunnah, we cannot build our society. Naturally, our kids would be custodian of Quran and Sunnah for tomorrow. We should consider how we are promoting our cultural norms for their personalities. We are talking about all these basic aspects of life. But for this time, we are going for a short break. I believe you are with us. Please stay with us. We are coming back soon. Dear viewers, welcome back in our program Islam in the Contemporary World, and we are talking about relationship between parents and children. Dr. Gholam Mujtaba, what do you suggest for today's children?
Here is a case written in a research paper. A woman at the age of 85 is sitting in an elderly home with her spouse, and she has two daughters in the vicinity of 40 years. She gets a call from her one daughter once a month. The other daughter never calls her. That puts her to be more alcoholic, and she is depressed, distressed to whatever is happening around her. She has nobody to talk except the spouse, and that's all. That life is really something that is not the type of life our parents get in the East or in an Islamic society. In our Islamic society, you do care for your parents. The more they grow older, the more you take care of your parents. You share their worries. You share them in all aspects of life. You support them. If they don't have finances, you extend them the financial support. You give them all kind of privileges. But that does not happen in the West. The society is a broken society. In terms of parent-child relationship, we have the best available model in the world, and that model should be followed. And the basic question, do the child has to listen? There is no limit of any age. Child or the son and daughters should listen to their parents, no matter how age or what age group they belong to, because that is the very essence of our society, and that should not be broken.
P.S.Shahid sahab, what do you think about Pakistan? What is lacking in our society, and how do you see relationship between parents and our children?
Prof. Qadri, I would like to say that my relationship with my parents And now when I'm a parent and my children, I have mashallah 5 of them, I think that my experience has been where my parents encouraged me to do what I thought was best for me. They definitely did give me directions. And I think in my relationship with my children too, I've tried to kind of give them the best course for them, however, letting them make the decision for themselves. And I think that is critical, because I've found a number of children in future life who have been complaining about them being forced to take a decision. And so I think in the long run, where you have your own passion for a job to do and your parents you support, possibly becomes a strong relationship. So I feel in our environment today too, we need to encourage this dialogue between the parents and the children, and the parents have a role to advise and the children have a role to see for themselves. However, I don't think the parents have a role in the complete destiny of their children.
You think we are following the same rules and regulation of our community? Those we can say, these are the conventions, our tradition, that what we got from our parents, they used to care about their kids, their children. But being parents, we are not paying proper concentration towards specific training or orientation of our children. Are we honest or dishonest? How do you think?
I think for parents, their children upbringing will remain the most important and critical thing. You know, life has changed a lot if you see 50 years ago and today. The requirements on time have increased considerably. The children have become more exposed to than what we were. So there is a change.
You mean change? So to me, society never changes itself. Some traditions or some basic factors, they go all together from generation to generation. Say, we were asked by our parents, while you enter to restroom, recite this dua, this prayer. While you come out from that, while you go for to have some food, so before that you will have to say dua. While you see a person who is senior, pay respect. So these are basic norms of society. You think we are transforming all these basic norms to our kids or our children, or who is responsible for this? Our parents. They very well communicated to us. But now, being parents, what we are doing?
Look, Dr. Sahab, what I wanted to really bring out was, this change is definitely there. The issue is that, one, we need to handle this change. For example, I'll give you a very simple thing. I don't remember my father ever hugging me till even well past grade 12. But today the environment is different. The display of love has become more, display is required to be there. But my father had a very silent love for me. It didn't mean he didn't.
Dr.Gholam, Mujtaba, we are in continuation of our traditional approaches, and I believe that whatever our ancestors conveyed to us, we see a clear failure that we did not convey the same message of Islam or the same message of Quran and Sunnah to our emerging generation. You think so?
See, one thing we are missing in the discussion is there are at least 3 phases of life. First, when you are an infant. An infant has to be told what to do. An infant has to be trained for potty. An infant has to be trained how pampers are to be used, and you get rid of the pampers. Infants have to be told what to eat and how to use your right hand, and how to eat, what are the eating habits. Then comes the second phase, that's the child's phase. When it's a growing age, you are not an adult, but you are in the transitional period where you have to learn certain etiquettes. Now you come to the third phase, that's the adulthood. And if I recall right, Ali Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu was asked that in your time of caliphate, the Muslim successes were not as good as at the time of Umar Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu. Why? He said, at the time of Caliph Umar, I was his advisor. And today you are my advisor. So see the difference. Now in the grooming, and when the child is groomed enough, is an adult, becomes an advisor to his parents. Parents start listening to the kids at a certain age, and they are the best advisors, and parents are the best advisors for them. The relationship becomes more of a friendly in nature than giving them directions. So we have to understand that our kids have to be trained in the strictest possible form at an early age when the child is infant. Then when the child is growing at the age over 11 or 12, it's a different ball game.
Message in one sentence for our viewers.
Professor Qadri, there is only one message. We should abide to the basic tenets of Islam. That's the best model in grooming our kids.
General P.S.Shahid, your message in one sentence.
Yeah, one sentence is, for the children, respect your parents, and the parents, love your children and give them time.
This is a message of peace, love, and promotion of humanity. I'm thankful to our guest, Mr. Professor Dr. Gholam Mujtaba,
Thank you very much, Professor Qadri.
and Lieutenant General Retired P.S.Shahid being with us.
Thank you, Dr. Qadri. I think it was a wonderful topic to talk about, and I think this is very critical for the current era where the children must learn the relationship with their parents. I thank you once again, and I thank the RYQ channel because of wonderful introduction and important topics which really will make a difference in the life of our children. Thank you very much.
Welcome. My dear brothers and sisters, relationship between parents and children, they must be seen properly, because one generation is handing over the trust of Quran and Sunnah to another generation. It is a transformation and onward communication from generation to generation. What we have missed, what we haven't followed, what must be followed by Quran and Sunnah, this is not only a responsibility of children or parents. While they come all together, they create a beautiful society. Today's children would be tomorrow's parent. What they will be carrying. If we look at the system approach by Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam trained Hazrat Fatima Zahra radhiyallahu ta'ala anha, Hazrat Imam Hussain radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu, Hazrat Imam Hassan radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu, and how he set an example for the Meccan people and Madani people, calling people from different cultures. They were sitting together, telling them, "O people, these are rights of your children upon you," and convey message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for their betterment. And Quran says, if your parents have become old, this is your responsibility not to raise your voice before them. But what we are doing here, we don't care about Quranic order. We don't respect orders of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why we are losing our basic norms of Islam. That's why we are facing serious challenges of the contemporary world. We are empty-handed, seeing here and there, watching people that we can get from this corner of life, from this book, from this culture, roaming around in search of destination. But it is the easiest way to get a fruitful life, a fruitful result, with only one sentence. Pay respect to your parents. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would send special blessing upon you. Today, if you are following orders of your parents, you are going to be obeyed for next generation. This is a continuous message. And this was an essence of our program to see how Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam respected his parents while he is on his way to Medina. He asked to have a stopover to the grave of his beloved mother, Retd Amina radhiyallahu ta'ala anha. And he stays there and he says, this is my mother who taught me, who prayed for me. And he set an example. If you are on top of the position of country, never forget that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has specified rights of parents. And never forget, if you are the busiest person in your life, never forget that still you have your children back home to take care of them. If you always have this important phenomena in your mind, then you will be getting everything here and after departure from this temporary world. This message of peace and love for everybody. May Allah bless all of you. Thank you very much being with us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Goodbye. Allah Hafiz.